afternoon, everybody, and welcome to You Create Art at Home. My name is Bess, and I'm here for you to enjoy a little bit of arty time. You just need to carve out 15 minutes of your day, and it's Friday, which means that we can all be little bit more loose, can't we? Can all be a little bit more casual, and we're all entitled to have a decent break on a Friday. Now, I apologise sincerely. I am a times person and I know I'm late. However, I need to share with you the first fabulous thing. Hang on, I'm going to get up so that you can see it in full glory. Look at my t-shirt. So I never knew that the whole meme Karen thing was a thing until 3 weeks ago. Sorry, I didn't mean to point my boobs, but there we go. But my fabulous friend, Helena, said to me, Karen, I'll do you a t-shirt. And she's got this incredible vinyl heat press cutting machine, never even seen it before in my life. And I thought, yay, there's nothing I enjoy more. It's learning a new skill, a new craft, or watching people doing things that I don't know how to do. I just love it. It opens my mind. It fires off all of those neurons inside my brain that go, wow, 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 idea, 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 idea. And it was just amazing to watch. So I went and bought a really inexpensive t-shirt. We got some words, typed it in a computer, turned it into a graphic, sent it to this magic laser cutting thing, and it printed out the letters. And then we had this lovely silvery vinyl and don't ignore me. And then we ironed it on the t-shirt. So it's fantastic. I have to say I did hardly anything, but I really enjoyed spending time with Helena, who is my creative bestie, and also just learning and watching somebody else craft their skill. So thank you so much to Helena for giving me her time. But because we were chatting too much, we ran a little bit late, so I apologise for that. Anyway, it's Friday. It doesn't really matter, does it? So I got my pink flamingo Friday feeling earrings in tonight, and we are ready to go. So what am I talking to you about today, and what are we going to draw? Well, again, I would like you to have a bit of individual take on what I'm going to do today. I want you to find your own bits and bobs that you want to add into it. But what we're talking about is lift off, moments of change where you lift off into a new dimension that you actually don't know where it's going to take you. It is an unplanned, unscheduled, maybe not so unscheduled, but an unplanned, uncharted territory, new beginnings. I've had quite a few of them. I'm obviously English. We backpacked around the world. Then we came and lived in Sydney for a few years, went back to England, and then came back to Australia and arrived in Brisbane, having never really been here other than a couple of days when I was backpacking. So that's what we're going to do today. We're talking about lifting off to new beginnings. So are you ready? I'm going to flip you down and let's start our drawing. And, I'm just shuffling forward. I feel like I'm going to kiss you. I'm not. All right, are you ready? Okay. So here we go. Flip the screen. You get to see my computer. Hello. And flip you down and push you all the way down. So here's my first little doodle for you. Let's get the light on it so you can see it really well. It always seems impossible until it's done. Well, who knew, eh? Who knew that you could do half of these things? Things like the drawings that you've done, opening up your mind to creativity. Who knew that you were able to do all of that until you gave it a go? And that's where we're at, isn't it? Sometimes we just need to have a go. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get a post-it. Now, I've got 3 different colours here. That's the colour I've been using. I've got a brighter yellow, a pink or a green. So I think we'll change it up and we will use the green today. Make sure I'm not on the sticky side. There we go. All right, I've got my black ink pen and I'm going to need a red today as well. All right. So sometimes you need to scratch the surface to reveal really what is underneath. So let's put a finger in this corner. So I'm going from this corner and I'm going to go up about 2 centimeters. Then I'm going to do another line right parallel to it, which is about 1.5 centimeters. Opposite again, and I want to curve that shape. Then I'm going to bring that line in. This is a finger. So we can add in the base of the nail, the cuticle, and then we can add in a couple of lines for that first area in the finger that bends. I'm going to add in a long triangle-y sort of reflection in the nail polish. And I'm going to colour in the nail with my red. If you are a gentleman and you don't want to put nail polish on your finger, then don't. But maybe it's something you've always fancied, and you could use a highlighter for this if you've got one on your desk. Doesn't have to be red, you could use purple or blue or whatever. Okay, so this nail is scratching and revealing. So this is where we're going to draw. From this, I'm about halfway across the top of my post-it, and I'm going to do a very wobbly, scratchy line all the way down to the finger. And now I want to put that line the other way, and you can make this shape whatever shape you want, okay? So if you feel like you don't want to make it so narrow, don't make it so narrow. I'm going to make it look like the shape is broken, so I'm going to add in a second line that mirrors that line and then make it go down here. And almost like it's torn, like you're scratching through the surface and you're revealing what's in behind. Then I'm going to do another line up here, again, another tear or torn line. You can make it go wobbly and as long and as fat as you would like. Now, I wrote on that post-it note, it always seems impossible until it's done, and we've got a little rocket shooting off to the moon. And let's be honest, until the first lunar landing, no one knew whether that was actually going to be a thing or not, whether it was actually possible. So sometimes you have to look beyond the trajectory of where you think you're going and change direction, alter your path. And I'm going to draw an outer space scene, but I would like you to draw whatever you want in that world, but I'm going to draw an outer space scene to go with my rocket. So I'm going to start off by doing a couple of big planets, one there. This one I'm going to make slightly lumpy, so it's got some lumpy craters on it. And then I'm going to put more craters inside. Like that. Then you can't have a space scene, can you, without a Saturn? So let's get those big rings in. You know how it is, a big set of oval rings like that. And you do the rings first because then you put the planet in between the rings. Okay, and then you don't have it crossing over. Awesome. And now I want to add in some stars. Now for this picture, I am just going to draw classic 5-point stars. It doesn't matter what shape they are, okay? So they can be, this isn't about, these daily doodles on your post-it notes are not about skill level at all. It's about letting yourself go, letting your left brain quieten down and giving your right brain chance to have a little play, okay? When we're in our office, we're often all using our left brains pretty much all day. Unless you've got a creative job, it's all analysis, typing, writing, meetings. So this is your chance just to doodle, express yourself. Okay, so there's my very, very loose, wobbly stars. And now I'm going to put in some circles. And again, these are going to be like, you know, distant stars. So lots and lots of circles all over the place. So the story I was going to share with you is very personal, actually. And so bear with me as I decide in my mind when I'm telling you my story exactly how much I want to tell, really. It makes you feel quite vulnerable, doesn't it, when you start saying, oh, what I'm going to tell you is quite personal. But, okay, so I'm just going to add in a couple of extra rings on that Saturnlet. And I might just do some cloud. You know how Saturn has clouds, doesn't it? I mean, this isn't really Saturn, but I'm just giving that dimension on the surface that there's some sort of vortex. And then this one here needs some kind of pattern. So we might do kind of like a wood effect, you know, like a woody effect kind of pattern. So kind of lines, like a grain, wood grain, that kind of thing. All right, now, basically, I am now going to colour with my pen. I'm going to colour all of the bits, the negative space, which is not the bits I've drawn. I'm going to colour it black. So let's start here, and I'll tell you about the thing that launched me into a new situation. So let me think. My daughter is about to turn 12, I think, 12. And we were living in England. And before she was born, we'd left Sydney and we went back to England with Thomas. And no, sorry, we had Thomas and we were living in England, and he was 18 months old, or he was 6 months old, and I found out I was pregnant. And I was pregnant with twins, which I'm a twin, so I guess that wasn't wholly unsurprising. But it was certainly when he was only 6 months old, it was like, oh, holy dooly, we're going to have twins as well as, you know, an 18-month-year-old. It was like, oh my goodness me. But sadly, and I guess that's why it's on my mind, because we're coming towards the end of May. It was May the 31st when I went for a regular appointment, a checkup, antenatal checkup with my midwife. And I came out of the midwife's appointment, went down for a scan. And I was very, very large. I mean, you know, I'm not a slim person anyway, but I was carrying a very large pregnancy, which made you think, oh my goodness, I was going to have two great big massive babies. But actually, when we went for the scan, they discovered that I had a thing called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, which was when one baby is conjoined with the other baby via blood vessels. So as the babies had separated during their development period from, you know, egg or fetus or whatever, some of their blood vessels hadn't quite separated. And so essentially one twin was feeding and shunting all the nutrients to the other twin. So we had one twin that was growing really well, and the other twin was essentially not, because it was just sending everything onto the other twin. What did that mean for us? Well, we had no absolute clue. I knew I was absolutely ginormous. They sent us a few hours away up the road to the nearest sort of high-end neonatal area, unit in Bristol for extra scans and extra consultation with the the senior clinical team there for fetal medicine. And in the olden days, they would have put a needle in the tummy, and they would have drained all the amniotic fluid, that was what was making me so large. But unfortunately, well, it wasn't very successful, and often you used to have massive hemorrhages or unwarranted, just spontaneous miscarriages and things like that. So they were trialing a new option, which was to use laser separation surgery, which was still, very much a new kind of process and procedure. But at the end of the day, I was so large that I was told that I was going to go into, it was only a matter of time, and my body was going to go into spontaneous labor anyway, because I was almost carrying like I was 9 months, and our babies were only 24 weeks at that time. So our option was to do nothing and potentially go into labour. And at that sort of time, one of the babies or both babies, well, they would have been, very, very tiny, and it would have been suck it and see mentality. The prognosis wasn't great. So to do nothing wasn't really an option. And to have this intervention meant that we potentially could save at least one of the babies, and they were giving a 50-50 chance for both of them, but they gave an 80% chance for the survival of one of the babies. So, it's one of those options, isn't it? Do you sit where you are and do nothing? Do you try and save? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And I don't think you should ever waste too much time when you make decisions like that, procrastinating whether it was the right or wrong decision. You do the right decision that you think is right at the time, and you have to stand by it. And David and I made the bold decision to have the intervention. So I had keyhole surgery. And bearing in mind, I had left I was a marketing manager, a brand manager for food manufacturers. I left my computer on. Thomas was, our little baby was at childcare, and, we'd just gone for a regular appointment. And here we are faced with this huge dilemma. So we ended up having the surgery, which was keyhole surgery. And unfortunately, after 3 hours, my body went into a massive hemorrhage, and I miscarried both twins. Well, I didn't miscarry them. Unfortunately, they passed away, and then I had to deliver them, which was another trauma in itself. The sort of scary thing is that when this happened, it seemed like, you're at the end of a whole journey that you hadn't even begun. And, you were kind of thinking, what's the next steps? What's the future? Where do you pick yourself up from when something that traumatic happens to you? And, everybody in COVID-19, there's so many people that have lost friends, family, relatives, the poor healthcare workers watching a program last night, seeing the pain that they are going through on a daily basis still at the moment. People dying every day despite their efforts to save their lives. I mean, it's trauma that is just such a massive burden. And at the time when this happened to our family, it was the same. Like, how can you ever pick yourself up, build yourself again? How can you keep going? Well, things do. I mean, we do, because we're very strong and very resilient as humans. And a week after I came out of hospital, after, what was a very, very dark and traumatic time for our family, my husband got offered the opportunity to go and work down in Brisbane. And we'd obviously lived in Sydney, and we'd backpacked, and we knew that we loved Australia. And it was one of those sliding door moments where you're brave if you stay and you mourn, you're brave if you go. But sometimes you just have to get on that rocket, and you have to take off into the unknown, and you have to go and explore where other people haven't explored, and take a risk. You don't know whether it will pan out. You don't know what's going to happen when you land on some foreign country or planet or wherever the metaphor is that you're talking about it. But ultimately, if you trust in yourself and trust in the process and take it slowly and open your arms to opportunity, open your mind to opportunity, open yourself to trying new things like art, like learning a new musical instrument, like changing jobs, starting new habits, trying new foods. You might not like it. You might not succeed. It might not be for you, but at least you have tried. At least you have scratched the surface of where you are to reveal an opportunity beyond. And that's really what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you that, we've all got times and dark places or things that they call them sliding door moments, like COVID-19 for me, which changed the path that you thought you were on and opens the door and the opportunity to new things. I would never have met you, and I would never have started this incredible journey of online teaching if it wasn't for the desperate situation that COVID-19 threw my business into. Do I have regrets? None whatsoever. Do I have regrets leaving England after we lost the twins? None whatsoever. And every year when the 31st of May comes and I remember those two little babies and remember what might have been, I don't think of it with sadness. I think of it with, well, it just wasn't meant to be. And if we had had those twins, we would have been in a very different situation with a very different life. Not that it would have been worse. No, I'm not saying that. If you decide not to jump, you decide not to get on that space rocket and try something new and go off to a new planet and you stay with who you are, is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. That's the choice you make, and that's also a comfortable and fine decision. But sometimes when you do get on the rocket, strap yourself in and give yourself a chance to explore and try new things, you scratch the surface to discover new places, new planets, new opportunities, and new people. So Friday for me, the end of the week, was all about explaining to you guys that it's all about discovery. Your options are there, COVID-19 or not. We're all in it together, as they say. That's my little drawing. I'm going to flip you up. Whoop. I'm sorry if that was all very heavy and emotional for a Friday. It wasn't supposed to be. And as you can see, I'm wearing flamingos. So it is a time of reflection for me every time, May the 31st comes along. But it's not a place that I linger in sadness. It's a thing that I celebrate. And it's a thing that I think without that really significant moment in my life, I wouldn't have ended up back in Australia. And honestly, my life in Australia is one that I cherish and I'm so, so thankful for. I've made some amazing friends like Helena, who made this beautiful t-shirt for me, and just gorgeous people that really fill my bucket. And so that said, I'm going to say happy Friday, people. I hope you've had a lovely week. We'll have a whole new set of lunchtime drawings for you next week. I have to think what I'm going to do. I haven't even planned it, but I'm sure I'll come up with some amazing ideas and some amazing journeys to take you on. Have a lovely weekend. If you have enjoyed this and you would like to do some more, then I am back tomorrow on Saturday, 5 o'clock. Excuse me. At 5 o'clock is Paint and Picnic for families. We are doing a whale's tail that opens up in the sea. And then at 7 o'clock, I am doing a beautiful whale, which has been inspired by Maori design. So we are supporting New Zealand in their Corona journey. Actually, they're doing fabulous things. Their numbers are really low, so that's amazing. Well done, New Zealand. But that's where we're going on Saturday at 7 p.m. If you've enjoyed this and you'd like to share my crazy art classes with any of your friends and family or your work colleagues, please do. Send me a message below. Take a photograph of your little scratching the surface doodle that you've done. I'd love to see your art. I love to share it. And please pass it on, stick it on the work notice board, put it wherever you want, share the link at You Create Art at Home. I will see you on Monday. Take care. Happy Friday.